Pope Francis, born Jorge Maria Bergoglio in Buenos Aires in 1936, died today on Easter Monday, April the 21st, at the age of 88. His pontificate will be remembered not just for what he did, but for how he made the papacy feel. He was not the cold custodian of doctrine, nor a monarch cloaked in ermine and certitude, but a man of contradictions whose vulnerability became his greatest strength and whose charisma softened the serrated edges of his papal authority. He was the first Jesuit pope, the first from Latin America, the first to take the name Francis, the name that I was given when I was a baby, after the saint of poverty and peace, the saint who loved animals. He was a bouncer, a chemist, a mystic, a street priest, not the polished product of Vatican diplomacy, but a bruised man from the margins, and that authenticity seems to have been his appeal. He was elected age 76, well after the age that that he was expecting to continue his ministry. He'd already offered Pope Benedict his resignation as a bishop in what many viewed as a call for change and disruption, and it was rejected. And from the beginning, Francis ducked the grandeur of office. He lived not in the apostolic palace, but in a guest house. He carried his own briefcase. He kissed the feet of prisoners and embraced the dignified, the disfigured. There was no mystical distance, only pastoral presence. Smell like your sheep, he told priests. He reminded the world that Catholicism could speak the language of tenderness. He was a priest of the periphery. He didn't so much shift doctrine as shift emphasis. He wanted a church for the poor and with the poor. He spoke not just of dogma but of dignity. And his encyclical Laudato Si placed climate justice on the theological map. His infamous "Who am I to judge" comment marked a turning point in tone towards LGBTQ plus people, even as church doctrine remained largely unchanged. He visited Iraq, the UAE, South Sudan, the global periphery, matched by his theological outreach to atheists, Muslims and migrants. But his critics never stopped watching. He was a divisive reformer. He governed like a Peronist, shrewd, emotional, improvisational. His enemies accused him of sowing confusion, most famously over the footnote in Amoris Laetitia, which some interpreted as permitting communion for divorced and remarried Catholics. He didn't clarify, he rarely did. For many traditionalists, this ambiguity was unforgivable. The restrictions on the Latin Mass, his tolerance of errant bishops, his refusal to discipline ideological allies drew bitter criticism. Some saw him as a radical subverter. Others, with less patience, veered into sede vacantist heresies, claiming he was no pope at all. Yet amid the fury, Francis disarmed many by simply continuing, faltering physically but undaunted. His double pneumonia, his wheelchair, his breathless speeches all became part of the theatre of fragility, the shepherd wounded with his flock. What was he doctrinally ambiguous? Yes. Did he elevate questionable figures? Certainly. But he never stopped reminding the world of the gospel's social message of mercy, humility, forgiveness. His church didn't slam doors, it left them ajar. And he reshaped the papacy more through image than institution, and through what he actually said. He didn't solve the abuse crisis, nor the Vatican's financial woes, but he shifted the mood. His papacy was a long footnote, sometimes tender, sometimes exasperating, to John Paul II's declarative voice and Benedict's cerebral hesychism, silence. And now the conclave that he has shaped, 80% of the cardinals were his appointments, will likely elect someone in his mould, not in his mirror. He stretched the church. It remains to be seen whether it will snap back. Bergoglio didn't have all the answers, but he asked some of the right questions. Loudly, stubbornly, sometimes confusingly, he made enemies, he made mistakes, and I think probably he made history. But above all, he reminded us that the church is not a museum of perfect souls, but a hospital for the wounded. You receive communion because it's a form of medicine, And that, if nothing else, is a gospel worth remembering.